Good morning, girls.
Good morning, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Good morning, ma'am.
Very good morning. Okay, let us get started. Can you tell me what are the responsibilities of the application layer?
To provide set of interfaces for sending and receiving applications to gain access.
Okay, it provides network services, right? Application layer provides a certain network services to the user. So it is responsible for providing services. Now, what are the services? It is set of protocols. What are the protocols that are available in the application layer?
Telnet, FTP, DNS,
Mm,
DNS,
HTTP,
HTTP,
HTTPS,
mm,
SNMP, POP, POP,
FTP,
mm.
POP.
TPS.
SMTP, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the protocol that you will be using for the services of email? To get the services of email, what is the protocol that you will use?
SMTP, ma'am.
SMTP, ma'am.
SMTP, ma'am.
Okay. To transfer files, what is the protocol that you will be using?
FTP,
FTP, file
ma'am.
transfer.
FTP.
For web browsing,
HTTP, ma'am.
okay. Coming to the presentation layer, so what is what is the purpose of the presentation layer? What is the responsibility of the presentation layer?
It is responsible for
Responsible
presenting the
for
data, the
For
presenting
required
the
presenting
data
the
format.
in
data
the
in
required
the
format,
format
ma'am.
to
Yeah, yeah,
required.
please. Yeah. Any one of you. Any one of you.
The
So presentation.
responsibilities are like code formatting, encryption, and compression, ma'am.
Okay. So what is translation?
Translation is the code formatting, ma'am. It converts data into the binary format.
Okay. What is encryption?
Changing of data into other formats, ma'am, based on
Okay.
some algorithms. The
Okay.
source and destination only
Integrity
known
of
the
data.
code.
Okay. So the data is encrypted at the source. Okay. So the source encrypts the data and the destination decrypts the data. Okay. Fine. Thus, there will be a source and a destination. The source will encrypt the data and send it, and the destination will decrypt the data. And this kind of encryption is required for a sensitive information. If there is any sensitive information that is transmitted from the source to the destination, then the system will enable with the encryption technique. Okay, right. So what is compression? What is compression?
In compression, the data will be reduced, ma'am.
Okay, the number
The
of
size of the file.
yeah, the size of the file will be reduced. The number of bits contained in the information will be reduced. Okay, fine. Okay. Tell me, what are the responsibilities of the session layer?
Session
Responsibility.
layer is responsible for dialogue control and synchronization, ma'am.
Okay. Hmm. What is dialog control?
It organizes communication.
The session layer allows two systems to enter into a dialogue, and this communication between two processes can take place either in a half duplex or full duplex. Okay, that is dialogue control. And what is synchronization?
To add
It adds
checkpoints.
the checkpoints.
Add the checkpoint and synchronization points.
Okay, synchronization, wherein the session layer allows a process to add checkpoints or synchronization points to a stream of data. Right. So next comes the transport layer. What are the responsibilities of the transport layer?
It is
See,
It is
responsible for
At this
process.
point,
responsible
at
for
process
process to
so
process
control.
delivery.
so the application layer is responsible for providing network services to the user. Okay. Now, what are the network services? Then you should list them all. So this is the procedure in which you answer the questions. Emma, now coming to the presentation layer. So the presentation layer is responsible for translation, compression, and encryption. And what is the responsibility of the session layers? Responsible for dialog control and synchronization. Now, what is the responsibility of the transport layer? The responsibility of the transport layer is responsible for delivery of message from one process to another. That's what I told you. Like host to host delivery is different from process to process delivery. So the transport layer is responsible for delivering the message from a process to another process. So can you list out the other responsibilities of the transport layer other than delivery of message from one process to another?
Service point addressing,
Okay,
and segmentation and reassemblement,
very
and
good.
connection control,
Control, error control,
error
Flow
control.
control.
flow control, and error control.
Error control. So what are the two types of connection control?
Connection oriented,
oriented
connection
or
less.
connectionless, ma'am.
Connectionless and connection oriented.
Okay, what is an example of connection oriented control?
TCP, ma'am.
TCP,
Transmission control
transmission
protocol.
control.
Connectionless transport layer, connectionless?
UDP,
UDP, ma'am.
What do UDP stand for?
user datagram
User
protocol.
User
datagram
datagram
protocol.
protocol, ma'am.
Okay. For sending an email, what kind of connection do you require?
TCP.
TCP,
Okay.
ma'am.
Connection oriented, ma'am. TCP.
Okay. For video streaming?
UDP.
UDP.
Okay. So what is error control? Can you tell me what is meant by error first of all?
Damage or
is-
lost or duplication of
Loss of
packet is called as
data.
an error.
Very good. Okay, so damaged data or lost data or duplicated data, all this is considered to be error control. Okay, right. So what is the measure that the transport layer takes to control the error? So error control is achieved through what? Yeah, can you repeat?
By using retransmission of data.
Yes,
Resend
yes.
the data.
Yes, yes. Error control is achieved through retransmission. Error control is achieved through retransmission. So coming to the next layer, which is the network layer, can you tell me what is the data unit at the transport layer? What is the data unit at the transport layer called as?
Segments, ma'am.
It is called as segment. Very good. The data unit at the network layer is called as?
Packet.
It's called as a packet. Okay,
Packets.
yes, very good. What is the responsibility of the network layer?
Logical addressing, routing, path
Logical
determination.
addressing,
Okay.
routing, path determination.
Okay. So to give it a nutshell, you can say like the network layer is responsible for the delivery of individual packets from the source host to the destination host. Other responsibilities of the network layer are logical addressing, routing, and what is the third one?
Path determination.
Path
Path
determination.
determination. Very good. So what is logical addressing? Logical addressing is like giving the IP address to each and every, which is called as IP address internetwork protocol or internet protocol. IP stands for that. So giving an IP address, each and every system that is connected in an internet is given an IP address. And for the packet, it adds the source IP address and the destination IP address. Right. Physical addressing is the MAC address, which will be there in your NIC card. Logical addressing is the logical IP address that is given by your internet service provider to each and every system. So there will be two addresses for any system, the physical address and the logical address. So the physical address is called as the MAC, which will be given by the manufacturer, and which will be there in your network interface card. Okay, fine. Routing. So what is routing? Yes. So there will be a router or a router connecting different networks together here, okay? And any data that you want to send have to pass through this particular router to reach to the destination. And what is path determination? So path determination, to determine the path, like the packets can take different paths to reach to the destination. So there are certain algorithms which enable the path, best path to be chosen for the packet to deliver. So the algorithms are what? Can you list out the algorithms, path determining algorithms?
OSPF, BGP, IS to IS.
So it is OSPF. What do OSPF stand for?
Open shortest path first, ma'am.
Okay, BGP stands for? Broader gateway protocol. Okay, so BGP stands for, B stands for broader, G stands for gateway, and P stands for protocol. Okay, BGP. And what's the other path determining protocol? Which is ISIS. Okay, so intermediate system. Okay, so these are the three ones. If you just want a definition for routing, so the method of moving data packets from the source to destination is called as routing method. Okay, so what is routing? Routing is the method of moving the packets from the source to the destination. So these are all the layers and the responsibilities of each and every layer that we have discussed in the previous class. Now we'll move on to the next layer below the network layer, which is the data link layer. So let us look into what are the responsibilities of the data link layer. So data link layer is responsible for moving frames from one hop to the next. Here hop means like one host to the other host, like one system to another system. Now the data unit at the data link layer is called as a frame. Okay, so at the transport layer, it is called as a segment. And when it comes to the network layer, the data unit is now the packet, and in the data link layer, the data unit is a frame. Hop means that it can be a node or it can be a system. Okay, so you can consider hop to be a node. So the other responsibilities of the data link layer are framing, physical addressing, flow control, error control, and access control. So what is framing? Okay, so in the data link layer, what happens is the data that is received from the network layer is divided into stream of bits. Okay, and which are manageable kind of bits. They are called as frames. Okay, the process is called as framing, and here the data units are formed. What is the data unit? The data unit is a frame. So what is a frame? The frame is a manageable stream of bits. So the manageable stream of bits, okay, is called as a frame, and the process of making frames is called as framing. Okay, and the next one is physical addressing. So the physical addressing means that the MAC address is taken and the MAC address is attached to the frame over here. Okay, so that is physical addressing. As I already told you that the physical address is there, will be there in the NIC card. So the NIC card is network interface card of a computer. So which is this physical address will be given by the manufacturer himself, and generally it will be 12 digits alphanumerical number. So that is added to the packet over here, that is added to the frame. Okay, so the MAC address is added to the frame. And next is flow control. So in which like the data rate at which the rate at which the data need to be transmitted is controlled over here. And then the error control, as we already have discussed. So the damaged package, frames, or the lost packets all will be controlled over here again. Now coming to the access control, so it is like when two or more devices are connected to the same link. Like the data link layer protocols are necessary to determine which device has control over the link at any given point. So when there are two or more links connected, okay, so there are two or three nodes connected to a single link, which device will transmit all that is decided by the data link layer, because this link will be used by both the nodes that are connected on either side. Say I'm having one node here, okay, so another node over here, okay, so I have N1 and N2 nodes connected to the same link. So which one to transmit first and which one to transmit later, or at that particular point of time, which node will take control or access, will have access to the link over here between these two nodes, is decided by the data link layer. Now, I don't know whether you have got this doubt in your mind or not. So I will be giving you another question and I'll answer it. Now you have seen that flow control and error control are two things which you already have seen in the other layer. In which layer you have seen these two things, Sunday? In which layer?
Transport layer.
You have seen flow control and error
Transport layer.
control. Yeah. You have seen flow control and error control in the transport layer. Now coming, you are seeing the same points in the data link layer also. Okay, so as I already told you that you require a network layer if there are two different networks connected. Okay, so if there are in the single LAN, then you don't require the network layer and all that. So in that case, the data link layer will take control, and the flow control and error control is done by the data link layer. Okay, so that's why you have these 2 points in the transport layer, in the network layer, in the transport layer. Okay, and also you have these 2 things in the data link layer. Say for example, let me give you an example how the data link layer works. The responsibilities of the data link layer, and so you can see that this is a frame only. So you can see there is a preamble here and destination MAC address, and this is source MAC address, and the data length, and then the data original, the data to be transmitted, and then FCS is added. FCS is frame check sequence over here, which is used for error detection. And okay, so FCS is frame check sequence. So preamble is used for synchronized transmission. Okay, so it is stream of bits which is used for synchronizing the timing between the source and the destination. So DMAC stands for the destination MAC address. As I already told you, MAC is the physical address. And then this is the source MAC address, and then the data length, like how long is the data. So the length of the data is given here in this particular field. All these are the fields of your frame. Okay, and then this is the data part, and finally you have a error detecting code which is called as frame check sequence. Okay, so all this happens in your data link layer. Fine. So is it clear? So I said like I'll be giving you an example. Okay, so let me give you an example here. Say for example, there is a PC. Okay, say for example, there is a PC, my PC for example. Okay, so which is connected to a router. So my PC is connected to a router over here, and the connection over here is, say for example, this is Ethernet cable. Okay, so it's a cable. Okay, so I connected to the router with an Ethernet cable. So say for example, my PC is connected to the router with an Ethernet cable. Okay, and so this is my connections. Okay, so this is, for example, say this is at the source. Okay, now for example, at the destination, say for example, you people. Okay, so everanna okalla anukondi. So ikkada destination lo you have your mobile phone. Okay, say you have your mobile phone, and you are connecting to a router 2. So this is the router 2 through a wireless connection. Okay, say for example, you're connected through a wireless connection and this is your mobile phone. So herein you are having two networks. So this is my network and this is your network. Okay. So in my network, my PC is connected to the router with a cable. Okay. So it is a cable over here through which I have connected. And at your destination, so at your point, what you did is through your mobile phone is connected to a router, and how you are connected? You are connected through air. Okay, so you are connected through air, which is a wireless link. So you have connected. So these two are the source and the destination. So I want to send something to you. Okay, so I am streaming some live class to you, and you want to receive that. Okay, so I am the source and you are the destination. So what is happening live right now, I'm telling you that. Okay, so now what happens is now the data link layer will come into the picture. Okay, fine. So for this frame, okay, what it will do is it will add an header and a trailer. So this header and trailer will be depending on the type of link that is between the PC and the router. So the type of link here is an Ethernet cable. So it is a wire connection. So what it will do is it will create an Ethernet frame. So this frame is called as an Ethernet frame and it will transmit it only. So this Ethernet frame is transmitted to the router. So what happened now, the frame have arrived to the router. So this router will actually, so this process of adding the header and the trailer, what is that mechanism called as? The process of adding a header is called as encapsulation. Okay, what kind of header and trailer this particular data link layer added at the PC? It has added a header and trailer based upon the type of link that is between the PC and the router. So here, since there is an Ethernet connection, so it has created an Ethernet frame over here. So upon reaching on the router here, so the next hop is the router. So at the router will decapsulate. It will understand this header and the trailer is for this router to understand. So this router will take this header and trailer, understand the data that is transmitted in the header and trailer, and it will decapsulate it. Okay, it will decapsulate the frame. After decapsulating, what is the responsibility of the router? The responsibility of the router is to send the data out of a particular network and bring the data from outside network. So any data that you want to transmit from a network have to route it through a router only. Okay, from a router only the data will go out and come inside. So now this router will know like to which network you are sending based on the mask. So there is a mask, network masking, which will where the among the four combinations, the first three combinations will give the network address, and the last combination will give the system in which the system in the network. So that will decide the system in the network. So the first three combinations in the IPv4, you will be having four combination of numbers. The first three combinations will decide the network, and the last combination last number will decide the system in the network. So now the router, say for example, there is a satellite link between this router and this router. Okay, so I am having these two, all these networks are connected in the internet through a satellite link. So there is a satellite link over here, and these networks are connected. So now the connection, the link between these two routers is different. So based upon this link, what happens is it again encapsulates the frame based on this particular satellite link, adds a header and a trailer again to the frame. Okay, so it will add a header and the trailer to the frame again, and it transmits it through this particular satellite link. Now what happens, this frame will arrive at this particular router, which is through this router only the data has to enter into this particular network. So now the frame is at this particular router. Now what this router will do is it will decapsulate the header and trailer it because it understands certain things from the header and trailer. That message is only for the routers to understand. So that router will decapsulate the frame, add again another header and a trailer, looking at the connection between it and the device. Now this is your mobile phone, and your mobile phone and the router are connected through a wireless link over here. So since it is a wireless link, based on this particular wireless link, a header and a trailer will be created and added, encapsulated, the frame is encapsulated with the header and trailer, and then it is delivered to the mobile phone. So in the data link layer in the mobile phone, will decapsulate this header and trailer. Since the message is for only this particular device, it will take it. Okay, so this is how the transmission takes place, and this is how the data link layer functions at each and every device. I hope this is clear to everyone. Is it clear or not?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So let us move on to the physical layer. So the physical layer is, like I said, I don't know whether you remembered it or not. So it is like mostly hardware. Okay, so your physical layer is mostly hardware. The physical layer is responsible for movement of individual bits from node to the node. So it's responsible for transmission or movement of individual bits. And so you know, like 1, 0, 0. So these are all the bits, and the physical layer is responsible for that. Okay. So what happens at the physical layer is that the bits are converted to some electrical signals only. So at the physical layer, the data is converted to some electrical signals. So we know that. So what are the electrical signals? So you know, like 5 volts is 1 and 0 volts is 0. So this is a basic thing which you might have learnt it in your first year. Okay, so in your first year topics you might have learned that. I think I needn't repeat that again. So that is how the signals are interpreted, and so based on the transmission medium, uh, the data is converted. If it is fiber optics, then you know, like it's light transmission signal, and if it is wireless, it is a radio signal. Okay, so based on what kind of link the two nodes are connected to, then based on that, based on the medium, the data is converted. Okay, right. So the bits are converted over here to the kind of, based on the medium, the bits are converted to either electrical signals, or if it is fiber optics, then light signals, or if it is air, then it is radio signals. So all that things happens in the physical layer. So these are all the concerns. Okay, physical layer is concerned with the following things. So it requires the physical characteristics of the medium. Okay, so it defines like the characteristics of the interface between the devices and the transmission medium and all that. The type of transmission medium, as I already told you, it can be fiber optics, or it can be electrical signal, or it can be a radio signal. So based on the medium, the conversion happens. All that happens at the physical layer. And then the representation of bits, and okay, how they're represented. And so the physical layer consists of the stream of bits, and these stream of bits are generally zeros and ones with no interpretation. So there won't be any interpretation over here. There will be the data will be pure raw bits. And okay, and so then the third point is the data rate. So the rate at which the data need to be transmitted also is decided at the physical layer. So how many bits need to be sent for each second, all that is defined in the physical layer. And the longevity of the bit, like the signal can actually degrade after certain travel. So how long the bit will be there, and so the travel duration of a bit, and how long it lasts, and all that is decided by the physical layer. And the synchronization bits, okay, So this is like the sender clock and the receiver clock should be in sync. As I already told you, to establish proper flow control, the sender and the receiver should be in the same pace. So then only there won't be any error generated, or the loss of the data will not happen. So the synchronization of the bits need to happen here. And then next is line configuration. So this is concerned with the connection of devices to the medium. So it is point-to-point configurations. So how they are connected, whether it is a shared link or it is a dedicated link, point-to-point link, or it is multi-point. So all that is decided in the physical layer. Next is physical topology. So the topology defines, like how the devices are connected to make a network. So the devices can be connected in a mesh topology or a ring topology, or it can be a star topology. All that is bus topology. All that is decided here in the, again, the physical layer. And the transmission mode. So there are two transmission modes, the simplex and duplex, and three transmission modes, the simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. So again, how the data need to be transmitted, either in a full duplex or half duplex, all that is again the concern of the physical layer. So all these are the things that happen at the physical layer. So the first one is physical characteristics of the medium. So what kind of signal it need to get converted to, and the representation of bits. Okay, so there is no interpretation at all. So each and every bit is like 0 and 1, that's it. And the data rate, the rate at which the data need to be sent, like bits per second and all that. And synchronization bits, like the sender clock and the receiver clock need to be in sync. And the line configuration. So what is line configuration? Whether it is point to point or whether it is multi-point connection. And then physical topology, what kind of topology the devices are connected to. And the transmission mode, like which is simple or simplex or half duplex or duplex, that is transmission mode. So all these are decided or are the concerns at the physical layer. We have seen the components. Okay, so we have seen the components, we have seen the representation of data and its flow, and then we have seen the networks. Then we have seen various connection topologies, then protocols and standards we have seen. And then we have finished the OSI model. So we are just having TCP and IP model from the first part, and later on we'll get into the physical layer. Okay, right. So TCP IP is another model which is used for data communication along with the OSI model. So you can see that this is a diagram of your TCP IP reference model. So herein you just have 4 layers in TCP IP. What does TCP IP stands for? TCP means that transmission control protocol, and IP stands for internetwork protocol. So it is also called as TCP IP protocol suite. Suite means that the number of protocols that are available in each and every layer combined together, we call it as a suite. And OSI model layer, as you can see, there are 7 layers here: the application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical, from top to bottom. So wherein application layer is the 7th layer. Okay, so the first layer is the physical layer. So when I just wanted to compare, okay, the OSI and TCP IP, so I thought like I'll just put the OSI also for your reference so that you'll understand TCP IP better. So here these 3 layers combined together are one single layer here in the TCP IP, so which is called as the application layer. So in the TCP IP protocol, you do not have the presentation layer and the session layer. So these 2 layers will not be there. But now who will take up the responsibility of the presentation layer and the session layer? So the responsibilities of the presentation and the session layer are also combined in the application layer. So the application layer will hold solely do all the duties of the application and also the presentation and the session. So this is the application layer, which is the topmost layer. And then you have the transport layer. So the transport layer is again here in the TCP IP also. So which is like host to host connection, sending off the data from host to host. And then the network layer in the OSI is named as internet layer here in the TCP/IP. And then again, the data link layer and the physical layer are combined together into a single layer, which is called as network interface layer. So these are the layers here. It functions as like TCP/IP, but the layers are very less here. There are only 4 layers: the application layer, host-to-host transport layer, and then internet layer and the network interface layer. So the data link layer and the physical layer are combined together to form the network interface layer here. Okay, fine. And TCP/IP, as you might think, is before the OSI itself. So it is older than OSI only. TCP/IP is older than OSI. You can see that it is an hierarchical protocol. Why do we call it as hierarchical protocol? Is that the meaning of hierarchy means that the top layer will get the services from the bottom layer. So you can see that there is a hierarchy. So in an office, say that there is a manager. Okay, so below the manager, there are, say for example, there is an assistant manager. And below the assistant manager, there will be some office staff and so some office staff, and below them, like you will be having the attenders and all that. Okay, so this is a hierarchy, and why we call this as a hierarchy is that the manager will do along with his responsibilities, he will get services from the assistant manager. So the assistant manager will serve the manager, and the staff will serve the assistant manager, and the attender will serve the staff. Okay, so this is a hierarchy. So you can apply the same analogy to the TCP/IP model, wherein the application layer will get the services of the transport layer, and the internet layer will give the services to the transport layer, and the network interface layer will give the services to the internet layer. So the layer below it is serving the top layer. So that is called as a hierarchical model. So TCP/IP is called as a hierarchical model, which is made up of interactive modules, each made up of each having its own specific functionalities. So this is the definition of the TCP/IP. So what is TCP/IP? It's a hierarchical protocol made up of interactive modules, with each and every module having its own specific functionalities. Okay, so that is the TCP/IP. And so the protocols that are listed out in the application layer are the Telnet, FTP, SMTP, DNS, then RIP is the routing protocol, and SNMP. So all these are the protocols, the group of protocols that support the network services at the application layer. And then at the transport layer, you can see TCP and UDP, as like we have seen in the OSI. And again, at the internet layer, you can see ARP, and then you have this is IP, internet protocol. So internet protocol is the main protocol, and all this ARP and IGMP and all these are the supporting protocols. Okay, so the main protocol at the internet layer is the internet protocol layer. So all these IGMP and all these are the supporting protocols. And then at the last layer, network interface layer, you can see that it can be connected through an Ethernet cable, or it can be a token ring, or the frame relay, or asynchronous transfer mode, and all that. Okay, so all that comes into the concepts of the network interface layer. As we can see that okay, so this is ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. So as I told you, like Internet Protocol is the main protocol in the internetworking protocol, which is called as Address Resolution Protocol. You do also have the Reverse Address Resolution Protocol, and then you have ICMP, which stands for Internet Control Message Protocol, and then you again have IGMP, which is Internet Group Management Protocol. So all these protocols are there in the network layer. In the physical layer, as I already told you, a network in a TCP/IP network can be a LAN or a WAN. Okay, and the LANs are connected either with an Ethernet cable or token ring and all that. Okay, and the network layer is responsible for host-to-host delivery, and there are 4 supporting protocols as I already told you. Address resolution protocol is a communication protocol used for discovering the link layer address such as the MAC address. So ARP is used for extracting the MAC address of a system, and reverse address resolution protocol is a protocol by which physical machine in a local area network can request to learn its IP address from a gateway. Like I have found out the IP address of my system, right? And what is the protocol I have used is reverse address resolution protocol. So by which you can get the logical address of the system. To get the physical address, you will be using ARP, and to get the logical address of the system, you will be using RARP. And then ICMP is a network layer protocol used by network device to diagnose network communication issues. Like what are the issues that can congestion, everything is identified by ICMP. And IGMP is Internet Group Management Protocol that will allow one system to communicate, okay, to all the other systems, or like allow several devices to share one IP address so they can all receive the same data. So if you want 4 or 5 systems to have the same IP address so that they can receive the same address, you will be using a protocol which is IGMP. Okay, right. So this is regarding the TCP IP address. So as we already know, like in the transport layer, so you'll be having TCP, UDP, and SCTP. So TCP, UDP, I think I needn't tell you. I already told you what is TCP and UDP. Now SCTP is the protocol which is added in the newer versions. Okay, so why it is added is it is added to actually enable the services like voice over internet and all that. Okay, stream control protocol. Okay, right. And coming to the application layer, so it is equivalent to the combination of session, presentation layers in combination. Okay, so application layer is equivalent to the combination of application, presentation, and session, all the 3 things together of the OSI layer. So that's it. I have also completed TCP IP. So I hope TCP IP is also clear to you.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so these are some of the differences. I want all of you to form the differences and come for tomorrow's class. Now that you know what is OSI model and also you know what is TCP IP model, I want you to form the differences between OSI and TCP IP, starting with the number of layers. Okay, so one difference between the OSI and TCP IP is that the number of layers. In the OSI you have 7 layers, and TCP IP you do have 4 layers. And the rest of the differences between OS and TCP, I'm giving you this as a homework. I want you to do this homework and come for the next class.